Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we had free agency, which we signed a couple cap whales in to get this team to the cap floor. And also we started up the season simulation and simulated 37 games. And as you can see, so far we are 23-10-4, which actually has us top in the league with 50 points, which is pretty awesome. Now we have played more games than a lot of teams in around the league, so that's also probably why. But it's been a pretty decent season for the most part. It's been kind of having some losing streaks and whatnot, but our team has still been pretty good. Goaltending has definitely been the best thing I'd say from this team. Like, you can see the depth scoring isn't necessarily the best in a sense because guys like, for example, Pedersen isn't performing. Lambert hasn't really been performing that well either, so we're gonna have to probably change around our lineup a little bit. But in general, we've been a pretty good defensive team in terms of goaltending. As you can see, Kimeso has a 922 save percentage through 33 games and a 2.37 goals against average. He is up there for sure in terms of the Vezina race, and it'd be nice if he ends up winning the Vezina this season. Depends on how, I guess, our second half of the season is and all that type of thing. Now, before we get into simulating the rest of the season, potentially, I do have a number of comments to go over. So the first one is from Pens Gaming 7. He says, one thing I saw another YouTuber do that I thought was cool was to give X Factors to players midway through the franchise, since EA's roster is very little, so players 88 plus and players with top stats like hits, face-offs, etc. Just a suggestion, it's extra work. So basically what he's saying is like to have like players develop X factors in a sense. Like, I know EA doesn't give players X factors throughout the season. Like, they should have the players automatically gain X factors depending on their stat line. But for example, let's take a look at one of our players on our team. I don't know who exactly, but for example, I guess like somebody like who has decent, interesting stats. I guess like somebody like I guess Brad Lambert, in a sense, like how much assists did he have last season? 29. Well, say if Brad Lambert was putting up like 60 assists in a season, for example, and he was leading the league in assists a lot of the time, and he had 92 passing, then should be getting like tape to tape as an X factor, that type of thing. For example, Quinton Byfield, who also has no X factors, if his face-off numbers were at like 90 plus and he was winning like 55% of the face-offs, which I think he's actually winning a good amount. Yeah, he's winning like 53% right now, but if he was winning like 55% or like the highest in the league, basically you would give him like quick draw and all that type of thing, considering he's a 90 overall. So yeah, that would be kind of interesting to do that type of thing. I don't think I'm going to do it, but eventually maybe down the road. And then also hopefully EA down the road eventually adds it to the ability so players could develop X factors as you play with them. So like during the off season, you get like players getting off like new X factors or losing X factors if they don't play this certain way, that type of thing. That'd be kind of neat. The next comment is from Hockey Guy 88. He says, I'm going to predict 45 goals from Vance. So he predicts 45 goals. I don't know if he said that before he saw that he had 19 goals, but that is definitely reasonable. He is on pace for 42 goals around, I think I said. So he should be able to get right around that mark. I don't know if he's going to get up to 45. It depends on how much he scores in the second half. But yeah, Vance is having a pretty strong second season so far. The next comment is from Rebecca Weiss-Woods, which says, I'm going to guess Vance will get 37 goals this year. So 37 goals, so not as much. So like apparently the second half of the season, he's not going to be as good as what Rebecca is saying. And then also Rebecca says, in June, after announcing who won the Stanley Cup, it lists the cap floor and ceiling as well as the minimum and maximum player salaries. So we'll definitely have to take a look at that in the off season when we are actually going through things, because I normally skip through that and I completely forgot it actually shows you that, because yeah, it's something that I always skip regardless. So there is that. And then the last comment is from Christopher Davis. He says, I was so hyped when you were calculating Vance's goal pace, because the whole time I had it in my head that it's probably 42 to 43. Advanced major math major for the win. So yeah, he managed to calculate that in his head before I opened up or fully got my calculation done with a calculator. But I mean, I'm not good at math really that much. Like, I only use math usually for my roster editing when I'm like figuring out players like shooting pass bias and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the gist of my math knowledge right now. But anyways, there is that. So I don't really know if we should make any other line changes. We did make some changes in terms of our lineup at the end of last episode because Lambert was down on the third line and Reichel wasn't really performing on that second line. So changing that up might change the complexion of the offensive production. And then I think we'll probably keep the rest of this like the exact same. Yeah, we'll probably keep the rest of this the exact same. Yeah, because Korchinski and Girard don't work together because I'm pretty sure they're both OFDs. So, yeah, we'll just keep the rest of it the same. I also did change up our power play because our power play has been struggling a little bit. So we'll see if that performs better. And if it doesn't, we could always make some more adjustments to it. Because if that power play gets going, that should help out our offense a little bit and all that type of thing. But yeah, let's continue simulating some of the season. We'll simulate up to it like a day before the trade deadline, and then we'll see if we have to make any trades. And if we don't have to make any trades, we'll get through the rest of the season. But I honestly don't think there's a use for any trades, and none of you guys suggested any trades, which makes me think you guys don't think that we need to make really any trades either. So, because I feel like just running with the team you have is always a good plan, as we're losing 4 games in a row. So that's not great, but at least we bounce back with a win there. And then we lose again. Holton was never injured, right? Yeah, he was never injured. I thought so. But yeah, our team's having a little bit of a rough month here, which is okay because we don't want to win the President's Trophy because the President's Trophy we all know is a curse in franchise mode. And if we win that, we're going to be a first round exit. So yeah, a lot of losses that month, but 29, 18, and 4, we are still the top team in the division by 2 points and way up on the Jets. So are not on the Jets, on the Wild, like by almost 10 points. So I think we're in a good spot pretty much still with this team. We are still not the top team in the league anymore. We're tied with the Sabres, but the Maple Leafs are number 1 now at 65 points in 48 games, while we've played 51 games. So yeah, we're not going to end up being like the top team in the league, I think, at the end of the season, but that is okay with me because last time I won the President's Trophy, you all know what happened. I got clobbered in the first round, which is not fun. So, yeah, screw the President's Trophy. I never want to win one of those again, especially if it means a first round exit. I have won Stanley Cups when winning the President's Trophy as well, but it's very rare that that happens. There's a 3-game winning streak, 4-game winning streak, and the New Jersey Devils have fired their head coach. So now we're having a little bit of better month here. Danton Heinen in a 6 for a 3rd and a 4th, and no thank you. I'm not going to accept that. Because we already got our depth guy in Curtis Douglas. Wow, we're winning like every game this month so far. We lose in a shootout there and win that one. So basically we had points in every game in the month of February. That's pretty awesome to see. So 36, 18, and 5. And Vance is leading the team in points now. He's got 29 goals in 59 games. So he is kind of slowing down in the second half. But he is almost point per game. So he is picking up more assists than I would have thought for Sniper, but that is okay with me as long as he's producing because he is definitely helping this team turn it around quite a bit. And yeah, we're the 2nd best team in the league now, only behind the Toronto Maple Leafs. But we've played 59 games, Toronto's played 58, so actually they have caught up in games too because we didn't actually have a lot of games that month. So that's that. Let's go another week. So we are a day before the deadline. And we'll see what's up with the team. See if anything has improved, like the power play percentage or whatnot. Okay, there's a couple more wins and a loss, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. And yeah, Vance is now up to 32 goals, so now he's going to start scoring some goals again. I still think he's going to hit at least 40 this year, but you never know. He could slow down even more so, because he only got like 20 games left. Well, he has 20 games to score 8 goals, which is pretty reasonable, I'd say. Well, let's take a look at our power play percentage and see if that's still near the bottom of the league. If it is, that's okay, because maybe I'll just go like really hot in the playoffs. We're still the 2nd best team in the league as well. But let's see, penalty kill, where are we sitting? I want to make sure our special teams are doing good. So still doing pretty good on the penalty kill. Our power play percentage is 12.9%, which is still one of the worst in the league, so it has not improved really at all, unfortunately. But we are still one of the best defensive teams in the entire NHL, which is good to see. And offensively, we are working our way up as one of the best offensive teams. We're like mid-table, so that's not bad. I kind of like where we are. I don't want to take a look at the player stats yet because honestly I like waiting until the end of the season to do that. But I think I think our team is doing okay. Actually, let me take a look at our player stats just for plus minus mostly. Because I want to just take a look and make sure that nobody is badly minused on this team and dragging the offense down and stuff like that. So Reichel and Nazar's lines. So basically, well, Nazar's second line, Reichel's third line. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not a lot of minus players on this team, which means goaltending is probably doing really good. I don't want to take a look at Comesso's stats until we find out if he's going to win the Vezina or not. But I don't think we're going to make any trades unless there's something super intriguing on the block. So I'll take a quick look at that just in case. But I don't think there's really anything we could trade for. Let's see. Montembeault, Clegg. Yeah, there's probably just a lot of veterans on the block, and I don't think we need any more veterans on this team. Zach Werenski's still a really good player on the block, but signed for an extra year. If he was a one-year deal on at 88, I would maybe trade for him, but I don't think we'd have the assets really to bring him in. Yeah, there definitely is some good players out there, but I don't think I'm going to make any trades. Some of you guys might not like that, but I don't know. Seth Jones is still on the block. It's funny how I traded him to Los Angeles, and now they just keep on wanting to get rid of him. Joel Eriksson, not that bad of a player, but signed for 3 years. Not a bad contract, though, $5 million, but I don't really see where some of these centers could slot in on the team because we have like an abundance of centers. Like, we're playing a lot of guys on the wing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there is actually some pretty good players on one-year deals, like Marchessault and whatnot. But I don't think I have a spot where a lot of these guys could kind of slot into our roster because the young guys take priority over veterans usually. Yeah, there's actually some decent players for sure. But I don't think I have any moves I would like to make. Like, I don't want to really get rid of prospects. Because our prospect pool, I just don't want to get rid of anybody in case, even though I don't think we have the best prospect pool yet, it just makes more sense to hold on to our prospects for now. Wow, that was McKenna. That's like literally the guy that was like, yeah, 6 overall. He's on the block for San Jose. Yeah, there's a lot of good players on the block, but I do not think I am going to make a trade. I'm going to look at our lineup again just to see if we have any weaknesses really with our roster that I could maybe fill. Not really. Yeah, not really. Because I'd say our top 6 is decent. Our third line is pretty good. Our fourth line's pretty good. Defensive core maybe could use some work. Maybe. And then goaltending is good. Wait, Comesso is an 84. I thought I saw him as an 88. I was like, what the heck? But maybe on our defensive core we could use somebody. Maybe. Let's just take a look again on the defensive side and look for a right-handed defenseman. Oh, Axel Anderson's a right-handed defenseman, of course. But not that good of one. Let me go back to the bottom of this list just because there were some better players near the end of this instead. Just want to see. Actually, I could just search right-handed defensemen across the entire NHL and see who is on the trading block. So let's just go find trade. Even though I don't think I'm going to make a trade. And let's go to each team and see who is right-handed. Can I sort by handedness on this? No, I can't. I don't know why some of these people aren't listed as like right Ds and stuff like that. I'll just sort by... Actually, maybe I should just go to proposed trade screen instead. But yeah, I don't think we're really going to make any trades because this team is doing so good, so... But we'll see anyways if there's any good defensive upgrades. So, skaters matching block. Let's sort by overall. Oh, Axel Anderson's still an RFA, so he doesn't even have a contract. It's interesting. What do we got? Who is that young defenseman in Arizona that's on the block? Oh, it's a DFD. He's left-handed though, but he wouldn't even really fit on our roster yet. Cale Clegg, is he right-handed? He's left-handed. I just want to find a right-handed defenseman and see if there's anything actually worth trading for. Werenski's left-handed. Jacob Trouba is right-handed. Oh yeah, Trouba's right-handed but signed for a couple years, so I don't like that. Klingberg is also right-handed, but he's also signed for a couple years. Seth Jones, obviously, I'm not bringing back. And Drew Doughty is a right-handed defender, but he is not really that good at one right now at this stage. He's dropped off a lot. Libor Hacek is left-handed. CC is right-handed, but I don't think I want to bring in CC, to be honest. Jared Spurgeon's right-handed, but he's dropped off a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are dropping off in this franchise mode. Tyson Berry, but he's an OFD, and I know how bad he is defensively in real life. Ilya Labushkin, right-handed defenseman, DFT. He's really good defensively and does fit into our top 4. And he is signed for only 1 year. Interesting. But who would have a scratch on our defensive core to get somebody like Labushkin? Because Labushkin could definitely help us out defensively, but if you look at our defensive core already, in order to get a trade like that done, we would have to probably move out like Alec Regula, and Regula's been a plus 17 this season. Or we can move out Ian Mitchell, actually, but he's also a right-handed defenseman. Yeah, you know what? I don't think we're going to make any trades. Sorry that I wasted your guys' time for the last, like, 10 minutes or whatever trying to see if there's any trades, but I don't think this team really needs to make it. Like, we're one of the best teams in the league right now. Might as well just trust in this young core. Obviously, if we don't make it too far, it's not the end of the world again, but it's just more to get these young guys experience and stuff like that, playing these big games. So let's go to a day after the trade deadline and see what big trades happen, and then we will simulate the rest of the season and see how we do to wrap up the season. I wonder if there's any blockbuster trades this year. It's taken a while, so there must be a few. So Travis Konechny goes to Boston for a first, second, and Tourigny. Or Tournay, I don't know how it's pronounced. Sundqvist on waivers. Nah, not really. You know, he's a useful player, but I don't really need him. Okay, let's take a look at some AI trades just for fun. And then we'll simulate the rest of the season and see how this team wraps up 2027. So we'll go to trades. Anything interesting to note? I'm only going to read out the ones I see current players in. So like Jason Zucker goes to Edmonton from Buffalo for a prospect, a third, and another prospect, I think. Laurent Brossoit going to Vegas. Logan Thompson to Toronto. Anything else? Mikey Anderson to Dallas. Kale Clay to the Rangers. Justin Falk to Arizona, it looks like, and Brett Kulak. Surprised those guys are still playing, to be honest. Ryan Lindgren and Anders Bjork go to Detroit. Marchessault goes to Carolina from Montreal. Alex Ovechkin? Are you kidding me? Washington traded Alex Ovechkin and it didn't pop up. I didn't even remember he was on the trading block, to be honest, but Ovechkin gets traded to the San Jose Sharks for a first rounder and some prospects, so that is very interesting. I don't think I've seen Ovechkin ever get traded. I have seen him sign with other teams, but that might be the most insane thing I've seen in a while. Imagine if Washington did that in real life. That'd be crazy. Yeah, it's probably the most interesting one. Let me actually take a look at where Ovechkin slots in on the Sharks roster for fun too. And then we'll get the rest of the season done with. Might be a little bit of a longer episode while he was traded in. He goes right to their top line to play with a young center in Reefers and also Timo Meier. That's a great pickup by San Jose, but Washington, screw you for actually trading Ovechkin. You got to hold on to him until he retires. You can't just get rid of him like that. Okay, let's get the rest of the season done. See how these boys wrap up the year, and hopefully we are playoff bound, and hopefully this young team can maybe make some noise in the playoffs. Nazar's been injured with injured ribs. Let's just go replace player. That's kind of sucks. It's only for like a week though. And we're still winning some games without Frank Nazar, which is a good sign. So Lorentz was put in, which is in an interesting depth player still. We don't have the best depth in a sense, but it is okay. Those guys are getting paid a lot, so they hopefully play like good depth players. There's another win in a shootout. The team's winning a decent amount of games here near the end, but then we lose 2 in a row. And we also lose that one and lose that one. We're on a big losing streak all of a sudden, which is kind of scary, but there is a shootout win. It's kind of good to have a losing streak near the end of the season, you know, as long as we don't miss the playoffs because of it. Ian Mitchell's been injured till May the 3rd. Jeez, I knew we should have picked up a defenseman. That's not good, but that means Noah Juulsen's going to be playing in the playoffs for us, and we're losing so many games down in the stretch. Holy crap. But we have clinched a playoff spot because of our early successes. But the remaining part of the season is not looking too good. Like, we need to all of a sudden step it up in the playoffs, or else we're going to be a first-round exit at this rate. There's 2 wins to end the season. Okay, good. But, yeah, that was a kind of scary stretch because we lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Then we win one in a shootout. Then we lose here. So 7 of our last 8, 8 of our last 9, 9 of our last 10, 10 of our last 11 games. And then we win 2 games. And we still finished 46, 30, and 6. So Comesso might have really struggled near the last part of that season. So he might not end up winning the Vezina because of that. But let's take a look at our team stats and player stats and see who we're facing in the first round of the playoffs. So entire league-wise, we finished as the 7th best team because we were second, and then we slid quite a bit. But that's okay. I don't really want to finish in like the top 5 because I feel like I could be a first-round exit otherwise. Goals for per game on average. Our offense is getting worse, I think. Yeah, I think our offense got worse. Yeah, our offense did definitely drop off, which is unfortunate from the end of that season onward. And we only gave up 1 less goal than we scored, so yikes. And yeah, our goals against per game went up as well, probably because of those last 7 games. So we were kind of average at everything. So I don't really like that. Our power play was still really terrible. And our penalty kill was also, looks like it dropped off a lot, which means we're probably like one of the worst teams to get into the playoffs in terms of like all this stuff. Like, we're not that good at really anything. That's what it looks like. At least 3-6-1 in our last 10 games going into the playoffs. Yikes. Let's take a look at those player stats though. So Quinton Byfield, 75 points. At least he had a good season, plus 20. Yeah, not too bad. Better than last year, so he is still improving. Hopefully he has a good playoff run. And then Asher Vance hit 38 goals this year, so his pace definitely slowed down a bit. But 70 points in his second season, I like it. He once again shot 317 times, 12%, so he's not shooting the best percentage still. But 122 points in 164 career games is pretty good. And hopefully next season's the season where he starts to break out, since it's the end of his ELC. And then we'll give him an 8-year deal, likely. Nazar, 42 points, not bad, but a minus 13. Lambert, 39 points, minus 6. And Pedersen jumped up in points, 34 points, but minus 14. So that second line really kind of struggled in that sense. Khrushchev, 32 points, I believe only getting power play time and fourth line time. Yeah, he really didn't get a lot of ice time, but he was producing. Reichel, 30 points, Zari, 26 points, and Lawrence had nothing. Kachuk, 30 points, Olsen, 25 points. Right wing wise, Holton at 67 points, which compares to last year as better, but he's scoring less goals. And Entwistle, 25 points. Defensively, Girard, 51 points in maybe his last year here. I don't know if I'll be bringing him back. Depends, I guess, on how Korchinski is. Like, if Korchinski's ready to take over that top 2 spot, or we might just keep both of them. 29 points for Korchinski, though. Burnstrom, 26 points. Not bad. Not bad at all. He is improving as well, at least offensively. Ian Mitchell, 19 points. Regula, 17 points. Edvinson, 12 points and a plus 11. That's pretty good for the youngster. Still an 80 overall. And 2 points in 8 games for Juleson, who is going to be playing in the playoffs because of the injury to... Where is he? I thought there was an injury on the defensive core. Didn't I say there was an injury on the defensive core? Maybe not. Oh, wait. No, I did see him. It's Ian Mitchell. Okay, there you go. I just didn't see the red symbol because of the red jersey. Okay, goaltending-wise, Comesso definitely got worse because the team got worse, but 915 save percentage and a 267 through 70 games is impressive. Yeah, he's definitely getting better as he is getting older. He's only 24 though still, but yeah, very solid season from Comesso, and we have him still locked up for 3 more seasons, which is nice. And then Tarasov was not really that great, to be honest, but at least he got us some wins. Let's take a look at player stats across the entire league to see who led the league in points. That is going to be Austin Matthews with 102. And then it was Kuznetsov with 96. So only one 100-point player this season, which is a little bit weird. And Alex Ovechkin, who got traded at the deadline, was up there in points, which is kind of funny to see. How good did he do with San Jose? 19 points in 18 games. Not too bad. Best goal scorer of the season, Austin Matthews with 63 goals as well. And Michkov, even though I accidentally made him a grinder, he was up there in points. He had 72 penalty minutes because I made him a grinder accidentally. That's annoying, but at least he's up there in goal scoring like he should be. And Asher Vance was up there actually in goal scoring as well, so looks like goal scoring might have been down this season because there was not a lot of 50 goal getters, so Asher Vance was still up there in goals, even though he only had 38. Let's actually take a look at some fun stats as well, because we always like to do that as well now. Nathan McKinnon, 13 game-winning goals, jeez. 20 power play goals from Austin Matthews, and 29 power play points from Caulfield, Teravainen. Looks like Montreal had a good power play, though, because Suzuki's also up there. Most short-handed goals, Connor McMichael with 4. And also, he also led in short-handed points. Him and Hendrix Lapierre must have been on the same short-handed unit, looks like. Let's take a look at some Selke candidates. Yeah, let's see. Probably Connor Bedard. Actually, no, it's going to be Barkov again for sure. 58% on the draw and 130 takeaways. Yeah, it's going to be Barkov. Most hits, Michkov, because I made him a grinder, even though he doesn't. Actually, he does have a good physical attributes. What the heck? I don't think I remember making his physical attributes that good, so I don't know if it's because I made him a grinder that it made him grow more in the physical category than normal. That would maybe be interesting if when like a player type is selected, basically the player grows more in that area than they do in other areas. It kind of makes sense, so maybe he just grew a lot in the physical attributes. Block shots, Foodie with 44, jeez. Giveaways, Barzal, takeaways, we already looked at. Most fights for fun, Steve Fawcett in Arizona with 15 fights. Not too bad. That guy also puts up a good amount of points and a lot of PIMs, so that's interesting. Best defenseman this season, Adam Fox and Seth Jones, both 65 points, but McAvoy's also up there with 64. I don't really know which one of them is going to win the Norris. It's probably going to be Fox just because he's a +9. But Chikrin's probably the best all-around defender in a sense because he was a +19 and had 58 points. But you also have like Morgan Riley with 55 and a +32. So there you go. Goaltending-wise, what do we got? John Gibson, most wins, tied with Carter Hart. Both 42 wins, most shutouts. Sergei Bobrovsky with 8. Best save percentage by a starter. A lot of 20 games played, guys. Is going to be Jari with a 918. Which means Kamesso's all the way up here, but I don't think he's in the race anymore, unfortunately, for the Vezina. And goals against average by a starter is going to be Samsonov. It's probably going to be Samsonov, my guess. And best goal scorer for a goalie is nobody. What a surprise. Kamesso had the most assists out of any goalie in the league, though, tied with Samsonov with 5 assists. So that's nice to see that Kamesso is picking up a lot of apples as well. And best rookie point getter is going to be Tikhonov with Pittsburgh with 62 points. When was this guy drafted? 4th overall. Pretty good. So there is that. Let's take a look at who we are going to be playing in the first round of the playoffs. And then I'll be it for this episode. We are going to be taking on the Minnesota Wild. Interesting. So we play Minnesota, San Jose plays Seattle, Anaheim plays Edmonton, Winnipeg plays LA. And then in the East, you got Ottawa, Buffalo, Toronto, New York, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and then Washington, Philadelphia. So we have home ice advantage in this first round matchup, which is interesting. Even though we fell off a lot, we still have home ice advantage. Minnesota looks like this. They got Kaprizov, Rossi, and Boldy. Really good top line. That's probably realistic to what the future top line might be in Minnesota. Who knows? Second line, Andrei Kuzmenko, who I guess made his way over there. Nolan Patrick is playing, just kind of surprising. This guy should have low durability, which he does not, so EA really needs to fix that because this guy shouldn't be playing that much. But he was acquired from Vegas. Oscar Lindblom is also on the second line. Third line of Adam Gaudette, Danton Heinen, who we could have actually acquired via trade, but we didn't. Damn, we maybe should have brought him in a sense. He might have been a good bottom sixer. And Jack McBain has found his way back to Minnesota where he was drafted, which is kind of funny. And a fourth line of Matt Nieto, Curtis Lazar, and Ken Delzato. So, yeah, that forward core is kind of meh, to be honest. It's not bad in terms of the top 6, but like that fourth line having a 72 in Matt Nieto, I don't know about that. Defensively, they're pretty good though. Brodin and Addison, Cece and Pedersen, and Chaika and Frederick Festerling, who was recently drafted last year, it looks like. So yeah, that defensive core is pretty good. It's like not like got a standout defenseman, but it's got good overalls, and looks like they have a lot more left-handeds than right-handeds. Yeah. Goalie-wise, they have Dan Vladar, and Jesper Wallstedt is going to be their starter more than likely for the actual playoffs, though. Wallstedt is a beast usually. We've had him in the past in franchise modes, but he was an AHL caliber goalie. And depth-wise, Brady Shea's out with an injury, so they do actually have even a better defensive core once Shea returns. And then they have Tourigny and Samuel Bolduc, so not the best depth, but still. So once Shea returns, Festerling maybe gets thrown out of the lineup. I would hope not, considering he's a youngster. But how long is Shea out for? Do we not have to see him? Because if we don't have to see him, that would be good, because or else that defensive core will be a little bit better. We're also battling an injury of our own on defense, though, so kind of makes it a little bit fair. Ian Mitchell and Brady Shea. Brady Shea's out till the 28th, so I think he will return in this playoff matchup. And then, yeah, Ian Mitchell is not going to be returning for this first round. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to round 1 against the Minnesota Wild as we look to maybe turn it around a bit, because we did struggle a lot in that second half of the season. So hopefully this team could maybe make some noise in the playoffs. It doesn't matter too much, but I want these young guys to get some valuable experience and all that type of thing. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.